All right, go ahead and solve this problem. What? I'll hire you for $1 million annual salary if you can solve this problem. Here, please get the $1 million ready right now. What?
Trouble Busters!
Once I get hired, I might get close to that cute receptionist. Oh, I'm so nervous. My name is Alan. I'm a male Homo sapien who's 30 years old, and the moment I walked into the interview room, I was intimidated by my interviewer. You might not believe this, but this is Mr. Ivory, who is my interviewer. And that's the reason why I'm interested in this position.
So?
Huh?
What kind of benefits does our company gain by hiring you?
I'd be contributing to your company by coming up with new projects and discovering new clients.
That's not going to benefit our company. Besides, do you really think you'd be successful at our company?
Of course I do. I'll work as hard as I can.
Okay, you're one of those who will work hard but isn't necessarily smart. All right, go ahead and solve this problem.
What?
I'll hire you for $1 million annual salary if you can solve this problem.
This is so sudden. There's no way anyone can solve such a difficult problem. Why is this happening? I've been getting help from my friend to get ready for this interview. I can tell that this guy wasn't going to hire me to begin with. This is unforgivable. This was the job that I wanted the most, and I wanted to earn it with my own skills, but forget it. I'm not gonna let him get away with this. Trouble Busters!
I don't mind if you guys just leave this interview if you can't solve that problem.
Here, please get the $1 million ready right now.
What? That's not possible. Oh, it's correct. What? Is it true that you were conducting unfair interviews? Mr. Yale, why are you here? My nephew was in this interview, and he reached out to me. He told me that his interviewer is being ridiculous. What the heck have you done? So, is it true? No, it's not true. These guys just don't know what to do other than complain and whine just because they don't know how this society works. I was just trying to filter out the potential candidates who will be promising for our company. I've never conducted any unfair or unjust interview.
In that case, can I ask if you intended that you may have possibly considered our candidacy at all?
I was planning on letting you know of the decisions on a later day via writing, yes.
Can you please stop lying? This is a problem that a professor from KO University came up with. It's known to be one of the most difficult problems out there. I heard that none of the current KO students could solve this problem.
Were you giving that problem to your interviewees? No, just as I said earlier, I wanted to watch and see how they would tackle such a difficult challenge. It wasn't like I wouldn't have hired any of them if they ended up not solving the problem.
You even said that you'd hire us for a $1 million salary if we solve this problem.
What? $1 million salary? You're just an interviewer. You don't have the right to decide their salary. I never said that. I never say anything so irresponsible. I'll hire you for a $1 million annual salary if you can solve this problem. That's your voice. I was just exaggerating, and I hope you don't misunderstand. It's part of my job to motivate the candidates. In that case, I solved the problem, so you're hiring me for $1 million salary, right? You probably cheated.
What?
Even I couldn't solve that problem. There's no way a kid like you would have been able to solve it.
No, that mathematical problem is known among mathematical maniacs. Most mathematical maniacs would know the answer to that problem.
Besides, your words are completely fraudulent. Sir, haven't you ever heard of any jokes before?
This is not a place or time for you to be joking around when you're about to come up with a hiring decision.
If you can't solve it, you're not hired! Oh my goodness! I was just exaggerating. I never meant what I said, and this was just part of the show.
No one wants to see that show. Besides, it seems like you're severely misunderstanding something about interviews. If that was how you interview people, you should omit such terrible process. It's such a wrong thing to do, even if it was just a casual conversation. How would you ever feel if you were placed in our position? You'd be flustered, troubled, and upset, right? You shouldn't do anything that you wouldn't want others to do to you. This is something you learn in preschool. Why don't you understand something so simple?
If you hated me giving you that problem so much, why didn't you speak up?
You weren't creating an atmosphere to let us speak up with anything we wanted to say. Besides, if I ever tried to argue with you, I knew that it would affect your hiring decision. You did this knowing that your interviewees couldn't argue with you. Regardless of the fact that this was an interview, you gave a problem that there wasn't any way that any of us could have solved. And you were smirking as you were watching us get flustered trying to solve the problem. This wasn't even a legitimate interview. Have you ever thought about how much your interviewees spent time and effort getting ready for the interviews you conduct? I can't forgive you for looking down on us, not even considering how serious we take your interviews. Some people can feel hurt because of the way you conduct interviews, while others might end up with PTSD. You need to realize that you're potentially affecting your interviewee's life down the road, regardless of your hiring decision. You need to show some respect.
If that ever happens, it only means that the candidate's being too soft-skinned. Besides, if they can't even handle the stress and pressure of being in such an interview, I don't think they'll be successful in the future, whatever they do and wherever they go.
What did you just say?
You know that I'm right. If you're gonna be so soft-skinned to be all sad after just a simple interview, what's going to happen if you can't get your client to sign a contract? What if your supervisor reprimands you? You're not going to stay calm or professional, right? Therefore, this process during our interview is something that measures whether the candidate can survive as a working person in our company, or even in our society. In order to determine that ability, I had conducted the interview in such a manner. If you don't understand that intention, I'm not even sure how you're going to survive the rest of your life in this society. How shameless can you get? You're such a terrible person. Say whatever you want. You can't possibly survive this society by choosing to be so hypocritical. But you're making such a big deal out of this interview. You're only proving how immature a person you are. Besides, the ones who don't get this job are the ones who lack the necessary patience and guts. What did you just say? This is too bad for you, but this is how we do interviews at this company. No! I don't recall deciding for us to conduct interviews in any way that you described. What? It's been a few years since you started taking charge of all interviews. I never even imagined that this was going on. I'm very disappointed in you, and this is extremely infuriating. Besides, what era are you from conducting such intimidating interviews? You need to understand that your interview method is not aligned with our company's directions. You're only making the candidates uncomfortable by being intimidating to them, and you're only losing the opportunity to find out the true side of that candidate. More importantly, do you even realize the negative impact that you're causing the company by causing potential threats for our candidates to spread bad reputations about us? If you had even thought about this, I'm sure you wouldn't have conducted such intimidating interviews. Let me make it clear that interviews are conducted with a limited amount of time, while we need to be able to see the candidate's true side within that short time. Working at a company isn't always going to be fun. There are going to be moments that can be harsh, sad, or upsetting. We don't want our candidates to enter our workplace thinking that it's going to be a wonderful day every day and end up failing us just to waste our time. And that's exactly why I'm teaching them a lesson even before we have them on board. And there's no reason for me to be cornered around like this or be in trouble for this.
But that doesn't make it okay for you to act so disrespectfully.
What respect are you talking about? There is no such thing in this society. You should be grateful that I'm spending my time for kids like you who have no idea what you're doing at all. I never knew this was how you felt about interviews. Mr. Yale, what I can say for sure is that you're going to appreciate me down the road. You're going to realize that the candidates I've chosen for this company are extremely talented and strong. No, we've been getting declination letters from almost all of those who we've been sending offer letters to. Huh? They're saying that they can't possibly work at an environment where people are tolerated to look down on others. Some others said that they can't trust our company because of how the interviewer said that he'd only hire those who graduated KO University. When I asked those candidates why they chose other jobs over what we were offering, everyone said things in similar nature. What? You're kidding me! I wished they were all kidding me. Since we've been getting so many declinations, I started to think that something was strange. And this was why I asked my nephew Alan to apply for our company and see how the interview goes as my spy. And look what happened. Do you even realize what you've done? I was taking this method for the sake of our company. I never did anything bad, did I?
What you've done was terrible.
You're helpless. I can't believe you still don't even realize that you've done such a terrible thing. I mean, all the interviews used to be like this back in our days.
That's not necessarily true. You can't just get away by talking about back in your days because that's not the era we're in.
But that era was what made me who I am today!
Stop blaming the era! I said you're not getting away with it!
The era is mad at you! Boo! Shut up, new generations! I don't care what you guys say because I know my interview method is the most effective way! I'm going to keep doing what I do! I see. I guess I'm not left with any choice if you're going to choose to do that, despite all that we've said to you. This is going to be a matter of responsibilities. Are you fine with that? Huh? Hold on, sir. You don't have to make this such a big deal. It's just an interview. It's not like this is going to cause our company any damage. If that's what you truly think, you need to have a better risk management skill for yourself. This incident is going to be known by the families and friends of those who were declined candidacy, and it's going to slowly bring down our stock value. If our business partners find out about our poor reputation, we could potentially end up with a huge loss or damage to our company. It takes decades to build a trusting relationship when it comes to business, but it only takes less than a second to lose that trust. When that happens, how are you going to be responsible for this? It's going to be a bigger problem than whether you're going to be promoted or demoted. I understand that. Oh? Then let me hear exactly what your thoughts are. Well, we can perhaps replace all upper management personnel, including you, at the stockholders meeting. Can I just throw you out this window over here? I'll make sure our company won't end up with any damages. I've only been hiring talented candidates when it comes to the interviews that I've been conducting. Even if there are any damages down the road, I'm sure that those talented associates will cover up all those losses, I can assure you. But all those hired candidates are declining our job offer, and that's the problem that I've been talking about. No one wants to work at an environment with people like you. Oh, you don't have to make it so clear. I'm a human too, and I'd feel hurt if you put it that way. But you didn't even care whether you were hurting your candidates' feelings when you conduct interviews like this. This is ridiculous. I'm going to be filing a lawsuit against you for defamation that's disguised to be an interview. Defamation? Wait, hold on. This was just an interview. It doesn't matter what we were here for. You said that you've overcome a lot of challenges ever since back in the days, right? I'm sure you'll know how to handle such an unforeseen circumstance, right? Let's have you demonstrate that to us. I'll take part in that lawsuit. Me too. Oh, stop ganging up against me. Besides, how exactly did I defame you guys? You have no fame to begin with anyways. That's what all the perpetrators say. You would think that it's normal. You would think that what you did was necessary. You'd use unjust reasons to justify your actions when you'd be extremely upset if you were to place yourself in your opponent's shoes. I'm sure you made your candidates cry in the past, too. I'm sure there were some of them who were extremely ashamed for not being able to fight you back just for the sake of the interview. But you never even cared to walk in their shoes, am I right? Well, they were just a bunch of losers. If that's how you felt about them, it only proves my point that you're a horrible person. You might as well learn your lesson in court. But if you do that, everyone's going to spread terrible rumors about me. How are you going to be responsible if I ever end up even losing my job? I have a family to feed and I have a mortgage to pay. And we have a dream to chase, too. What you're saying doesn't make you more of a valuable human being than any of us in this room. If I lose my job, I'm going to file a civil lawsuit against you. Go ahead, but let's not forget that I have dozens of others who will be taking my side. In that case, I'm going to make sure I spread bad rumors about you, just so you guys won't be able to find a job anywhere in this area. Okay, that's a threat right there. I'm going to make prank calls to your house every day. Okay, and that's against the nuisance laws. We yet reached our main course of defamation, but would we like to add more sins before we get to that course? In that case, I'll just quit doing any more interviews effective now. Will that make everyone happy? It's great that you're going to stop doing interviews, but what's done is already done. What? I'm telling you that you can't undo what you've already done in the past. But I'm not going to do it anymore, so can't you just forget about the defamation? It's already too late. What's wrong with all of you? Mr. Yale, you've always trusted me to conduct the interviews, and you can't just suddenly point fingers at me. This is as unfair as a pop quiz. I've been proudly conducting such intimidating interviews, and you've snuck behind my back to tackle me with so many accusations. You don't deserve to call yourself a rugger. What does rugger have anything to do with what you've just said? Don't you know that everyone has their own rugger in their heart? I have a dwarf in my heart. I have a tiny geezer in my heart. Oh, someone needs to start getting in control of this zoo. Besides, why couldn't you just tell me that you were our CEO's nephew the moment you walked into the interview? So I would have known that you were hired anyway. It's not like I was going to be hired anyway. If I was, I wouldn't have been at this interview to begin with. That's right. Why were you even in this interview? You should have just proudly gone through that backdoor admission.
I don't even know what defines proudly to you. Besides, if only you hadn't been treating us so poorly during this interview, I wouldn't have gone so far to do all of this to you. Don't you understand that?
I've been saying that this was my interview method.
We've already heard enough of that. It doesn't seem like you're willing to understand no matter what I say. I'm gonna be filing a lawsuit against you, and I'm not bluffing. I hope you're ready for this.
Go ahead. I'm gonna show you the differences of experience that you and I have. We're going to have a board meeting before that. What? I hope you choose your words and actions very carefully, considering that your name will be discussed at the board meeting. You'll be summoned for the civil lawsuit, so I hope you're ready for that too. Well, why would you say that? You've brought down our company's reputation detrimentally. But weren't you listening earlier? I said that I have a family to feed and a mortgage to pay. I can't believe you would do this to me. I'd rather keep everyone's trust than let you believe that you'd get away after doing what you've done. How dare you all pick on me like this? He's victimizing himself now. Doesn't he realize that he did this to himself? Shut up!
Look, this is something that you've been doing to dozens and dozens of candidates that walked in for an interview with you. You can't forgive yourself when you can't forgive others. You're older than me, but you're not the type of person that I can pay my respect. I hope you learn your lesson through all the consequences you're about to face.
Wait, hold on. Here, I'll apologize. So, please give me another chance, please.
You've already spent all your chances prior to me being here. All you have left in your life is regrets and remorse. After the board meeting, Mr. Ivory was removed from his position as the HR manager. He couldn't stand how his colleagues were giving him side eyes, and he ultimately left the job. He was somehow able to convince his wife not to break up with him, but his family was in financial deficit. He currently works at a factory during night shifts while he delivers newspapers in the morning. He works as a mover during the daytime while he also does food delivery on his days off. As for me, Mr. Yale had referred me to a clean company after all that happened, and I got a job there. I've fallen in love with a cute blonde girl who works as a receptionist there. She said she's looking for a boyfriend, so I've been nominating myself. Trouble Busters!